He controlled more women than any general controlled soldiers and turned flesh into the city's most profitable commodity. If you're drawn to untold stories of power, corruption, and the ruthless machine behind America's underworld, stay with me, because what happened in these streets shaped organized crime forever. New York City, January 1933. 11:47 p.m. A black Cadillac pulls up outside 142 East 14th Street. 3 men step out: Charles Lucky Luciano, Meyer Lansky, and Frank Costello. Snow falls on the sidewalk. The building is 5 stories, brick, no sign outside. Inside, 18 women work. The building generates $3,200 per week. Luciano owns 7 buildings like this one across Manhattan. They enter through the back. A narrow stairwell. Painted green. The walls smell like tobacco and cheap perfume. On the 3rd floor, a woman named Sadie Marks sits at a small desk. She handles the money. Before her, a ledger, names, times, prices. She counts $840 in cash. Luciano nods. He takes the ledger, flips through it. 32 clients that night. He hands it back. Lansky speaks. "We need more locations midtown near the hotels." Luciano lights a cigarette. "We expand after Maranzano is gone." Salvatore Maranzano controls the Italian faction. He runs 12 brothels in Little Italy and East Harlem. He takes 40% from every house. Luciano pays him $11,000 per month. Maranzano also controls bootlegging routes and gambling. He calls himself boss of bosses. Luciano wants him dead. 2 months earlier, September 1931, Maranzano was killed in his office at 230 Park Avenue. 4 men dressed as police officers walked in at 2:15 p.m. They shot him 6 times, stabbed him twice, left through the service entrance. The murder was organized by Luciano. With Maranzano gone, Luciano reorganized the 5 families. He formed the Commission, a board of directors for organized crime. Now, January 1933, Luciano controls the largest prostitution network in New York. He does not run it alone. Thomas "Tommy" Pinocchio manages logistics. Ralph Ligori handles collections. David "Little Davy" Batillo enforces discipline. They report to Luciano twice per week. The brothels operate on a system. Women are recruited from bus stations, unemployment offices, dance halls. Some are lied to, promised jobs as waitresses or maids. Others know the work, but not the conditions. Once inside, they are trapped. They owe money, rent for the room, fees for food, charges for medical exams. A woman starts owing $40. After 2 weeks, she owes $90. After a month, $150. The debt never decreases. A typical house operates like this: 12 women, 2 madams, 1 doorman, 1 collector. The women work 6 days per week, 8 to 14 hours per day. Each client pays $2. The house takes $150. The woman keeps 50 cents. But from that, the house deducts rent, fees, fines. At the end of the week, most women clear $8 to $12. The house clears $720. Luciano standardizes the model. Every house follows the same structure. Same prices, same schedule, same rules. This allows scale. By early 1933, Luciano's network includes over 200 women across Manhattan and Brooklyn. Weekly revenue exceeds $60,000. Monthly gross tops $250,000. After payoffs to police, politicians, and enforcers, net profit averages $160,000 per month, nearly $2 million per year. The women come from everywhere. Polish girls from Greenpoint, Irish girls from Hell's Kitchen, Jewish girls from the Lower East Side, Italian girls from Little Italy, black girls from Harlem, though they work in separate houses. The network is divided by neighborhood and ethnicity. This reduces conflict. It also makes law enforcement harder. No single raid can shut down the operation. Police are paid weekly. Precinct captains receive $500 per month. Beat cops get $20 per week. Detectives receive $100. Judges are paid $1,000 per case to dismiss charges. District attorneys receive larger sums. In 1933, Luciano pays an estimated $30,000 per month in bribes across the city. It is the cost of doing business. On February 8, 1933, a 19-year-old girl named Helen Horvath arrives at Grand Central Terminal. She comes from Pennsylvania. She was promised a job at a hotel. A man named Pete Harris meets her. He wears a gray suit. He carries her suitcase. They take a taxi to 68th Street and 3rd Avenue. The building is narrow, 4 stories. Harris brings her to the 2nd floor. A woman named Mildred Curtis greets her. Curtis is a madam. She is 36 years old. She has worked in the business for 14 years. She explains the arrangement. Helen will work as a hostess. She will entertain clients. She will earn $15 per week. Helen hesitates. Curtis shows her a room. A bed, a sink, a chair. Curtis says she can leave any time, but she owes $25 for the train ticket and $10 for the room deposit. Helen agrees. That night, Helen works her first shift. 12 men. She earns $6. Curtis takes $4.50. Helen keeps $1.50. Curtis deducts $2 for the room and $1 for dinner. Helen nets negative 50 cents. She is told the debt will be cleared after a good week. It never is. By March, Helen is one of over 300 women working in Luciano's network. The operation expands into the Bronx. Luciano opens 3 new houses near Yankee Stadium. The location is strategic. Baseball season brings crowds. Businessmen travel from other cities. The houses near the stadium generate $100 per week during the season. Luciano also invests in appearance. He hires decorators. The houses are clean. Furniture is new. Linens are washed daily. Medical exams are mandatory. This is not charity. Clean houses attract wealthier clients. Wealthier clients pay more. Some houses charge $5 per visit. A few charge $10. These are in Midtown, near Penn Station and the Garment District. The Garment District houses are different. The women are younger, better dressed. They are trained to act like girlfriends, not prostitutes. Clients are manufacturers, buyers, traveling salesmen. These men have expense accounts. They pay in cash. They do not complain. The Midtown houses generate 40% more revenue than the Lower East Side houses. By summer 1933, Luciano's network includes 42 active locations. He employs over 400 women. Weekly revenue exceeds $90,000. The operation is the largest in the country. No other city has a comparable system. Chicago's prostitution racket is fragmented. Competing gangs control different territories. There is no coordination, no standardization. New Orleans and San Francisco have large red light districts, but they are not controlled by a single organization. New York is unique. Luciano does not manage the houses himself. He delegates. Pinocchio oversees the Manhattan locations. Liguori handles Brooklyn. Batillo manages enforcement and problem-solving. If a woman tries to leave, Batillo's men find her. If a client causes trouble, Batillo handles it. If a rival tries to open a competing house, Batillo shuts it down. Violence is rare but effective. On July 14, 1933, a pimp named Eddie Marone opens a house on Delancey Street. He does not ask permission. He recruits 5 women. Charges $150 per client. Undercuts Luciano's prices. Within a week, Batillo's men visit. They arrive at 3 a.m. They break Marone's arm, smash the furniture, take the cash. The house closes. Marone leaves New York. The message is clear. Luciano also expands into ancillary businesses. He invests in pharmacies. The pharmacies supply medications. Penicillin is not available yet, but sulfa drugs are. The houses require medical supplies. Condoms, antiseptics, douches. Luciano's pharmacies supply them. He charges a markup. The houses pay. The pharmacies generate an additional $5,000 per month. He also invests in laundries. The houses require clean linens. Sheets, towels, pillowcases. Luciano owns 3 laundry facilities in Manhattan. They service the houses exclusively. They charge $120 per week per house. The laundries generate $20,000 per month. Total revenue from prostitution and related businesses exceeds $300,000 per month by the end of 1933. Law enforcement is aware, but they are paid to look away. U.S. Attorney George Z. Medley knows. NYPD Commissioner Edward P. Mulrooney knows. Mayor John P. O'Brien knows. They do nothing. The system functions because everyone profits. The only threat is federal intervention. But the federal government focuses on bootlegging, not prostitution. Prohibition is still in effect. Alcohol is the priority. That changes in December 1933. Prohibition is repealed. The 21st Amendment is ratified. Legal alcohol destroys the bootlegging business overnight. Luciano loses $50,000 per month in liquor revenue. Other mobsters lose more. The prostitution network becomes more valuable. It is now Luciano's primary income source. At the same time, political pressure increases. Reformers demand action. Church groups protest. Women's organizations lobby. Mayor O'Brien is replaced by Fiorello LaGuardia in January 1934. LaGuardia is a reformer. He campaigns on cleaning up vice. He appoints Louis J. Valentine as police commissioner. Valentine is honest. He cannot be bought. Luciano adapts. He moves operations deeper underground. Houses no longer advertise. No signs, no visible solicitation. Clients are referred by trusted sources. Bellhops, cab drivers, bartenders. These middlemen receive $1 per referral. The system becomes harder to infiltrate. In March 1934, a task force is formed. Special prosecutor Thomas E. Dewey is appointed. Dewey is 32 years old. Ambitious, he targets organized crime. He begins with gambling and loan sharking. But prostitution is more visible, more politically useful. Dewey assigns investigators. They go undercover. They pose as clients. They gather evidence. One investigator is Harold Cole. He visits a house on West 48th Street on April 3, 1934. He pays $2. The woman's name is Nancy Presser. She is 23. After the transaction, Cole identifies himself. He offers her immunity in exchange for testimony. She refuses. She is afraid. Batillo's reputation is known. Women who talk disappear. Cole tries again. He visits 10 more houses over 2 months. He gathers evidence, ledgers, names, addresses. He documents the structure. But he needs testimony. Without witnesses, the case is weak. On June 12, 1934, a woman named Cokie Flo Brown is arrested. She is a madam. She runs a house on 54th Street. She is charged with prostitution and drug possession. She faces 5 years in prison. Dewey offers a deal. Testify against Luciano, and the charges are dropped. She agrees. Brown provides details. She names Pinocchio Ligori Batillo. She describes the payment system, the bribes, the threats. She identifies 18 locations. Dewey has his break. On July 18, 1934, raids begin. Police hit 12 houses simultaneously. 73 women are arrested, 4 madams, 6 enforcers. Ledgers, cash, weapons are seized. Luciano is not present. He is in Hot Springs, Arkansas. He hears the news by telephone. Luciano returns to New York on August 2nd. He is arrested at the Barbizon Plaza Hotel. He is charged with 62 counts of compulsory prostitution. Bail is set at $350,000. He posts it within hours. The trial begins on May 11, 1936. It lasts 4 weeks. The courtroom is packed. Dewey presents 68 witnesses. Prostitutes, madams, enforcers, bookkeepers. They describe the operation in detail. The payments, the threats, the violence. Luciano's lawyers argue he is being framed, that the witnesses are liars. That Dewey is politically motivated. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. On June 7, 1936, they return a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Luciano is sentenced to 30 to 50 years in prison. He is 40 years old. The conviction shocks the underworld. Luciano is the most powerful mobster in America. No one believed he could be touched. The sentence is the longest ever given for prostitution-related charges. Dewey becomes a national figure. He is celebrated as a crime fighter. He will later become governor of New York. He will run for president twice. Luciano is sent to Clinton Correctional Facility in Dannemora, New York. It is called Little Siberia. It is 300 miles north of New York City. Isolated, cold, maximum security. Luciano is prisoner number 92168. He is stripped of power, but not influence. From prison, Luciano continues to direct operations. Messages are smuggled out. Orders are relayed through visitors. His lawyer, Moses Polikoff, serves as intermediary. Frank Costello assumes day-to-day control of the 5 families. Meyer Lansky manages finances. The prostitution network continues, but without Luciano's direct oversight, it fragments. Several madams are arrested in 1937. Police raids increase. Dewey's task force remains active. By 1938, over 200 brothels are shut down across New York. The network collapses. Many women leave the business. Others move to independent operations. Some are deported. Immigrant women without legal status are sent back to Europe. The economic model changes. Independent prostitution increases. Streetwalkers replace brothels. Massage parlors and escort services emerge. These are harder to regulate, harder to control. The centralized system Luciano built is dismantled, but the methods he pioneered continue. The use of debt, the payment of bribes, the enforcement of silence. These tactics spread to other cities. During World War II, prostitution in New York surges. Soldiers on leave flood the city. Demand increases, prices rise. Women earn more independently than they ever did under Luciano. The war creates economic opportunity. By 1943, prostitution revenue in New York exceeds $10 million annually. But it is decentralized. No single organization controls it. Luciano remains in prison. But in 1942, the U.S. Navy approaches him. They need help securing the New York waterfront. German U-boats are active off the coast. Sabotage is a concern. The Navy believes the Mafia can help. Luciano agrees. He uses his contacts among longshoremen and dock workers. Intelligence is gathered. Security is tightened. The arrangement is controversial, but it is effective. In 1945, Luciano's sentence is commuted. Governor Dewey signs the order. Luciano is released on the condition he is deported to Italy. He leaves the United States on February 9, 1946. He boards the SS Laura Keene. He never returns. Luciano lives in Italy for the rest of his life. He remains connected to American organized crime. He meets with mobsters who visit Europe. He advises on heroin trafficking routes. He invests in casinos, but he never regains the power he had in the 1930s. He dies of a heart attack on January 26, 1962, at Naples International Airport. He is 64 years old. The prostitution network he built leaves a permanent mark. It demonstrates the profitability of organized vice. It shows how corruption can protect illegal enterprise. It proves that centralized control increases revenue. These lessons are applied to other rackets: drugs, gambling, loan sharking. The structure Luciano created becomes the blueprint for modern organized crime. The women who worked in the network are mostly forgotten. A few testify at trials. A few write memoirs. Most disappear into history. Helen Horvath, the girl from Pennsylvania, is arrested in 1936. She is sent to the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for women. She is released in 1938. She moves to Ohio. She marries. She never speaks publicly about her time in New York. Nancy Presser, who refused to testify in 1934, is found dead in a Bronx apartment in 1937. The cause of death is listed as overdose. No investigation is conducted. Cokie Flo Brown, the madam who testified against Luciano, is relocated to California under witness protection. She dies in 1952. She is never publicly identified. Thomas Dewey's career benefits enormously. He is elected District Attorney of New York County in 1937. He is elected Governor of New York in 1942. He runs for president in 1944 and 1948. He loses both times, but he remains a powerful political figure until his death in 1971. The economic impact of the prostitution network is difficult to measure. Conservative estimates suggest Luciano's operation generated between $20 million and $30 million from 1933 to 1936. Adjusted for inflation, that is over $400 million today. The network employed over 1,000 people. Prostitutes, madams, enforcers, bookkeepers, drivers, doormen. It paid bribes to hundreds of police officers, judges, and politicians. It was a major underground economy. The social impact is more complex. The network exploited vulnerable women. It trapped them in debt. It exposed them to disease, violence, and arrest. It operated through coercion and fear. But it also provided income. For many women during the Depression, prostitution was one of the few available options. Unemployment was widespread. Social services were limited. The network offered structure, protection, and predictable income. The morality is not simple. The legal impact is clear. The Luciano trial establishes new precedents. It is the first time a major organized crime figure is convicted for prostitution-related charges. It demonstrates that racketeering laws can be applied to vice crimes. It shows that witness testimony can overcome intimidation. These precedents are used in later prosecutions. The RICO Act, passed in 1970, is built on the legal foundation established in the Luciano case. The cultural impact endures. The story of Luciano and the prostitution network enters popular mythology. It is depicted in films, books, television shows. It becomes part of the American gangster narrative. The image of the powerful mobster controlling women, money, and politicians becomes iconic. It shapes how organized crime is understood and represented. The physical evidence is mostly gone. The buildings have been demolished or repurposed. The ledgers are in archives. The photographs are fading, but the structure remains. The methods Luciano pioneered are still used. The business model he created still functions. The corruption he exploited still exists. On a cold night in January 1933, 3 men stood in a brothel on 14th Street. They looked at numbers in a ledger. They calculated profit. They planned expansion. They built an empire. By 1936, the empire was gone, but the blueprint remained.